It has been a long day mobile detailing here. You can see the vehicle's all packed with junk. I didn't use an extractor. I didn't use an all-purpose cleaner on interiors. How did I do it? Check out what I learned from today's mobile detail that I really think will help you cleaning your car at home or as a pro.
So check out the floor mats of this Volvo. I can feel like the salt rings under my finger. I'm getting that out quickly. I'm getting the mats out. I want to blow out and vacuum out the car early, but that's not necessarily what this video is about. I want to tell you the first thing that I really think kind of surprised me pleasantly was showing up early and communicating super well. This is a high-end client. It's a nice neighborhood. They called me back after 5 years because they remembered that they really liked me last time I was mobile detailing, and so I really wanted to kind of wow them. And so the night before, I texted, hey, we're still on for tomorrow, just confirming. And then about 2 hours before the detail, I said, good morning, I'll text you when I'm on the way. And then when I was on my way, I said, okay guys, my ETA is 9 a.m. or something like that. And I was like, just confirming I'll be there right at 9, which is what we said we were gonna start the detail at. And then I got there at 8:45 and I started unpacking around their vehicle. I knew it was this white Volvo. And then the husband ended up coming out at about 8:55 and we had to schmooze for 30 minutes. It reminded me that there's so much friction between you and starting the detail with packing out all your stuff, getting your flow going, and schmoozing with the customer, figuring out where your power is going to be, all that kind of stuff. And so what I really learned is there was no weirdness. Like, I had already built up a rapport with them because I did what I said I was going to do. And these are folks who are a little more old school. They're going to appreciate, especially, anybody will, but especially, I think maybe just an older generation, when you show up early, that is gold to them. So immediately you're setting this sort of like foundation for what kind of person are you? What kind of detail are you? What kind of business person are you? Do you do what you say you're gonna do? And you establish that early. It was so easy to do. So just kind of over communicating was a beautiful thing. Now, as I show you my setup here, you can see my tiny little Flexzilla compressor. It didn't have enough power to get this Tornador going nonstop, unfortunately. I had to kind of punctuate it with little things. I'm going to talk about something I learned as well in a second, but one thing that came in clutch as a mobile guy, because when I came up, we didn't have these options. Having not only a cordless vacuum from Ego, which I know isn't cheap, guys, but it's really worked well. Having a cordless pressure washer is also amazing. I did have access to their hose, so I had access to water, but I didn't want to trip a breaker in their garage. My access to power was kind of this janky little extension cord in this guy's garage, and it was like, oh man, I'm gonna trip a breaker today. This Flexzilla compressor did not trip any breakers. I was also powering a couple of Ego batteries while I did it. No breakers were tripped. So having a cordless polisher, which I use at some point in this detail, but it's later. I did my interior first. I did a one-step polish. But yeah, cordless polisher, cordless vacuum, cordless pressure washer, absolutely amazing. That is one tip I could have for you. I'm not saying you have to go buy this, but just start to think about that, especially as you're getting started. You don't have a generator, maybe a big expensive van or truck. You're going to be relying on customers' power. The least amount of power you can be drawing from their garage. It's just the awkward conversation, which I had so many times early on, is, sorry I tripped your breaker, comma, can I figure out where that breaker box is so we could get this? And it's just like a weird thing. You don't want to trip the breaker. They may not even know. They may have never tripped a breaker in their garage before. You don't want to be the guy doing that today. I also want to talk about kind of my second tip is old school tools still have a place. And I mean, just check out how much dry particulate I had to get out of this sort of trunk area. And my compressor wasn't really running full steam because it's not 5.4 CFM at 90 PSI, which is what the Tornador wants. It definitely stopped on me. So I had to punctuate a lot with vacuum passes. And I was really struggling to get all of these little pieces of debris, this dog hair, whatever was there, like just dirt off these nasty little carpets. And the carpets aren't nasty, but they're just nastily difficult to clean. If you know, you know. And the Puma Stone, I know it kind of tears up carpet a little bit, but when you're in these trenches, guys, you gotta make things happen. The Puma Stone was clutch because there were times where my vacuum wasn't moving it, my Tornador wasn't moving it, and then my Tornador would just kind of slow down and I could tell I needed to give it a break. So while I gave it a break, I would just use the Puma Stone and I would just sort of like shave off these little pieces of hair or dirt it did an awesome job. So I would just highly recommend, don't sleep on these old school tools like a Puma Stone when you're doing interior detailing. They're not expensive. Get one on Amazon or wherever you get your detailing products, and just have it there for when you might need it. Again, don't go willy-nilly with it. If you miss a spot and you hit that Puma Stone on some of the plastic, it will scratch the plastic, right? And you're also scratching up these carpet fibers. But when you're really detailing and you gotta get her done, y'all know what time it is. You gotta use something like a Puma Stone. It's nice also to have that for real attachment on my vacuum. That was a lot, and so was the Tornador. But the Puma Stone really helped me get this job to, I think, a really 10 out of 10 in the trunk area. Again, here's kind of a before, and then I'll just kind of show you after all this work, and it probably took me longer than I wanted to. It looks very clean. So compressed air, don't sleep on that, folks. Puma Stone, worth having in your arsenal.
You know you're running wild on some real deal South Korean microfiber towels. I'm talking about from the yarn to the barn, brother. 25% off V1 microfiber towels, 15% off V2 new and improved microfiber towels, dude. All month long, microfiber mania at the House of Rags, brother.
We got Mr. Twister, we got the Edge, we got the Freebird, we got the Diva. Get yourself some towels.
Ooh, yeah,
boy.
Next tip, I gotta tell you, it's the rinseless wash dampen towel. You've heard us talk about it at DIY Detail a million times, but this is pretty incredible. Now I wanna show you this little turn switch, right? It says reset. Of course, I'm just blowing everything out with compressed air, right? Get everything dry out first, but this is my rinseless wash dampen towel. Of course, I have my camera in the left hand, so bear with me. I always used to reach for an all-purpose cleaner. I always used to reach for something aggressive, even the steamer. But watch what happens when you just leverage a rinseless wash dampen towel. We're talking about DIY Detail rinseless wash diluted 256:1 in a bucket. I take a short nap towel, I squeeze it out almost till it's not dripping anymore, almost till I got nothing left in there, and I use that to wipe. I'm kind of being a little inefficient here, randomly wiping, but what I want to show you is like the power it has to clean, especially in this driver console area and the center console area. So the driver's area and then the center console. I'm going to get to that in a second, but that is done so clean. You saw me just blow that off with compressed air. That is totally clean. I also want to show you what you can do with the rinseless wash dampen towel and compressed air. What you do is you take your rinseless wash dampen towel and you blow your Tornador, your forced air gun, through that towel, and then you just do a dry pass, and it does an amazing job. You can do this on air vents, you can do this around certain areas in the center console, but the beauty of this, check out, this was actually the thing that blew my mind the most. What I did is I actually put rinseless wash dampen towels in the cup holders. Ivan LaCroix told me about this a while ago, and I never thought to try it until now, but I'm like, you know what, I'm a DIY detail man now. I don't need to throw a bunch of all-purpose cleaner on the interior. So for about 15 minutes, I just took a little bit more damp. I actually had them a little like kind of sopping wet, and I put the rinseless wash towels in these cup holders, and I just let them soak for like 15 minutes, and I kind of squeezed them out in there so there was a pool of rinseless wash at the bottom of the cup holders, and then I just let them just soak in there. And then I came in, as you can see me now, and I'm just getting in there, blowing with compressed air, drying, blowing with compressed air, drying.
Holy crap, guys. So I used the rinseless wash dampen towel method, just letting it soak. That's it. And I did that with a rag here, pulled it out, forced air, blew it out, and it's looking so good. I might need to hit around these edges a little bit still, but all the gunk that was in there, it really worked on.
I wish I had a before for you because these were truly nasty cup holders. I'm not lying. No steam, no all-purpose cleaner. Folks, try this where you take your rinseless wash dampen towel and just set it in a cup holder and let it dwell. Give it that dwell time. Let the chemical work for you. Phenomenal job. I actually just put a little bit of interior clean and protect just to add a little slight darkening at the end. I just wanted to kind of give it a little pop, right? Interior clean and protect doesn't look like tire lotion. It's not greasy, but it does have that nice little I don't know, it gives it that OEM feel again if it's a little faded. Just a slight boost in sort of darkening from my experience. So I did a little bit interior clean and protectant at the end, and then I'm just kind of, right now I'm at the margins, like the last 5%, right? I have at 95% completion here on the center console, but thanks to Rinseless Wash, it did all the work for me. Compressed air just blowing out every little nook and cranny. Oh man, so good. And kind of wrapping it up back to the exterior, I want to say that I'm using Ragnarok wheel cleaner from Detail Co, and it's amazing. They give you different dilution ratios to use, and because I didn't have a clay bar the week before, I actually really relied on Ragnarok wheel cleaner as like an acid. It broke down a lot of those orange, red spots on white paint that are so visible. It was almost like I didn't need a clay bar. I just sprayed it on wet paint, I gave it some dwell time, didn't let it dry, and then used the wheel and body brush, and it got rid of a lot of those like rust deposits, those little orange spots. But I was out of it today. I had just a little bit in my bottle, so I filled the rest up with water. Here's what I learned today. This is not the same at 1 to 10 or 10 to 1 or 15 to 1 or whatever it was, 20 to 1 in there, as it is at full strength. I know it sounds obvious, but at full strength, this thing is a beast. This thing is something I would wear a respirator for. This thing is a great product, but I would respect it. I would probably wash off the driveway after I've rinsed it off the paint. Like I would do a lot of things to respect the power of Ragnarok wheel cleaner. At full strength, as Eddie Cologne would say, it does God's work. So thank you, Eddie and Jamie, for providing this product. But at 1 to 10 or highly diluted, it is a much different product. Maybe it's a good water spot remover, or maybe it's a good this or that. I don't know. Maybe it's still good at wheel cleaning. But for removing those rust deposits without a clay bar, listen, I'm a big fan of our Decon towel, but sometimes the white paint issues are just so substantial that you're talking about polishing, you're talking about really deep dives to get it to, 95, 100%, whatever the customer wants. Anyway, I learned a lesson. Use it at full strength if you want it for those rust deposits. At 1 to 10, it's probably a good, decontamination step for your paint, but it is not the same. So I definitely ordered a gallon after this because I need to have it in my arsenal. I really want to have it for mobile detailing jobs when I run up against nasty paint. And then just to cap this off, just as a fun thing, like one-step polishes, it is so easy money. It is so rewarding. Get yourself the gold standard polish, our pad lineup. We have 3 pads. It's a wool pad, it's a yellow waffle, and it's a rotary jeweling pad. It's a red jeweling pad. And make sure you're using the pad washer with Rinseless Wash to kind of keep your pad clean and damp. And it is so simple to just gloss up the paint. Folks, I did not go Hawk Pro Detailing crazy on this. Yes, it was a long day. The paint looked awesome. The customer was stoked. It sits under a tree with giant berries that were etching into this, so I had to do a deep dive on the exterior. But the customer was absolutely thrilled. I'm about to show you something I'm not 100% proud of. This floor mat on the front seat, you'll see it in a second. Not my proudest moment. It's not where I wanted it, but everything else on this detail, I got to, and I'm really proud of how I did it with really kind of a minimal arsenal compared to my previous self.
And just like that, we are wrapped up. The Volvo looking great. Oop. As I go around, quality control. Make sure I get this last section. Did I get the roof? Now I'm wondering if I got the roof. The Volvo's polished. I'll show you inside. Is it perfect? No. There's some wear and tear on those arms. I didn't want to go too aggressive on the leather. Call me a hack. No extractor. Maybe a little wick back there. Again, call me a hack. But take a look inside here. We are clean. It may look a little dusty, but we are clean. Trust me, folks. It's a very clean interior. Final wipe down here. A very clean interior indeed. Again, a little wicking on that back floor mat. I didn't use an extractor. How do I feel about all this? I feel like an extractor would have got me there, but this would have taken me another 2 hours. And the customer was so excited. what else do you want to know? The customer was stoked. And the job was done well. But I missed some spots, sure. I think I just saw a door jam. But take a look at this one step. So pretty. Again, it gets garaged, or again, it sits outside. It sits outside, but boy, is it looking good.